Hey yo guys, what's good? It's your boy, Orange Piccolo, back with another little review of Makima by Threezero, part of their FigZero line from Chainsaw Man. Let's get started.
All you had, plus a bit extra.
So this is the box itself. They all have pretty much like the same style to it. It's pretty vibrant colors to the whole thing. They're really well done. They have some figure photography on the back, and in the bottom there's just some. There's not even like warnings or anything on the bottom for some reason. But on the inside, it has the same like little opening thing where you can open it up and see the figure inside, which I have already taken her out of. But let's go over everything she comes with and the little booklet, the instruction manual. Having all of the accessories, even the one she has on already outside of the box, these are all of the accessories she comes with. So out of the box, she'll come with 2 pairs of fists and this normal like monotone looking face. But I'm just including it here just so show you what it all includes, I guess. You're gonna have a pair of 8 total hands. The only pairs that are gonna be like the exact same are gonna be the fists hands. You can see that even these hands are a little bit different. These hands are different, and then she has a pair of 2 unique hands for only her right side. She also does come with a pair of extra joints, extra pegs for her arms in case these do snap off. You can just take those out and put these back in. These have come in handy for me in the past. Not with anything Threezero, but Hot Toys and stuff like that. She does come with a beer mug. It's called in an instruction manual. It's 2 separate pieces. It's gonna come into you're gonna have to take it out as 2 separate pieces, but it's pretty simple. You just put it inside the mug, and it looks really well done. It looks really did a really good job with this, even though it's really simple, but it just done pretty well. You do have a dedicated hand to hold this specifically, so that's really good. She also does come with a lollipop, if you can see that. I think it's like the first couple episodes that's from. Really cool detail that they even had to add it there. Both of her faces, you can see one where she's like stale, I guess, and then one where she has a bit of a smirk or a smile. These are the only 2 that come with the figure. Last but not least, she also does come with an overcoat. It's called in the manual. I'm going to show this off a little bit later on too, but I like how this is done. I like the tailoring on it. I have had another figure that has like a coat and it's like pretty badly done. And it's like a pretty well-known company too. I might do a review on that figure too, but it's not a 1/6, but still. But this is really well done. It does have a bendy wire in it too. I might show that off in a bit of poses, but it does have a bendy wire along this side right here. Next, I'm going to take out the figure and then show off a bit of the detail she comes with. Here we have Makima straight out of the box. You can see all the detail that is in her hair, all the sculpted parts, sculpted pieces. All in all, she looks like she came straight out of the anime. I think this is one of my favorite figures of the line, of the Chainsaw Man, Threezero Chainsaw Man line. Even though she doesn't come with much, she doesn't really like pose as good, I guess, or like you can't really pull off many poses for her, considering she doesn't really do much in anime, like in general. But a very simple figure, really well executed, really well done. I'm gonna show you guys a bit of the top of her head. All this fabric is made out of like actual like fabric, so bending it and leaving it there for a while, you won't have to worry at all about it like creasing. I guess you can worry about it creasing, but it's literally like a dress shirt, so those crease normally, so it makes sense that these would look exactly like that. But also don't worry about this. I will talk about this later, a little issue I had with her, but it's fixable. It's just very it's just kind of like a random issue that I had with her, but or with this figure. You can see all the tailoring around her from her shirt too. Her tie does have like a little bit of a bendy wire, but I think it only like starts from here and ends barely at the bottom of the tie, so you won't get like all the way up here. You can bend, or like all the way down here. It's like up to like right here, and it starts up here. But it's cool that they added that. You can see all the tailoring on the back of her too. You can see that the tie is actual, like it actually goes around her collar. Her shoes are made of actual harder plastic, which I'm actually fine with compared to anything softer. But yeah, very basic figure, but really well executed. Probably the most solid figure out of the 4 that have come out so far. Next, I'm gonna go over the issue with her ponytail braid, and then I'll go over some of her articulation. So for her ponytail like braid thing, you can see it's a piece of metal. That's because this is posable. Very slightly. I wouldn't push it too far, but it is posable, which is really good because the first 2 that came out, I think Power, full on plastic. It'll snap if you push it this far, but this is like a strand of metal, I guess. And this is like the end of the ponytail part. For some reason on my copy, it came undone. I don't know if this is supposed to be glued in or not, but it's kind of a random thing that happened. I don't think I was even like messing around with her hair at all. But you can definitely like super glue it if this does happen to you on your copy. But I don't know. It's kind of just unfortunate that something like this could happen, because it is a small piece. This could have like fell down and I could have lost it forever. I don't know. It's just something to look out for. Also, the strands of her hair are softer plastic too. But next, I'm gonna go over some of the articulation on her. Articulation is pretty basic. Pretty much gonna have the same range of motion as all the other characters or all the figures in the line, mainly because it is just a like fully fabric over an actual like brand new body for a figure, 1/6 scale line. But starting off on her head, it is on a ball joint, and her neck is a little bit rubbery. I don't know if you can see that, but her neck is like a softer plastic, so you can push it up a little bit forward. If it wasn't, it would probably like stay up to like right here, but since it is softer plastic, go up to like right there. Probably go as high as up here while moving this. Probably go this, looking up this high. These are more rubber or more softer plastic, but it will like bend out of the way, and it might stay that way unless you like dunk it in hot water and like move it back. But I don't know, I wouldn't want to risk it leaving her in like a position like this where this stays there for a long time. But she can look left to right. I don't think anything really gets in the way. You can probably just like move her like these parts of her hair out of the way, but this part does hinder a little bit. But again, you can't just move it away. Oh, that's that piece that fell down. I'll super glue that after this review. But next off to her arms, she can do a full. She can go way higher. She can go about that high. She can't do a basic like 90, but if you wanted to go this high, you can, but there is a swivel somewhere. I think this is just like a ball peg that connects right here, so you can have a little bit of swivel, but it's like up here. She does come with double jointed, which is really good, really well done, because I don't think the fabric or clothes hinder her movement at all. She does come with a peg, those pegs that I showed you before. You can move that around completely, get a bit of this motion, up, down. Literally depends where you move this part. So she can even go back and forth like that. Moving from her torso, she does get a bit of ab crunch. You can tell that the two sections, I guess you can see it a little bit under with the light showing, but you can see a bit of her like plastic figure, and there's a gap here, I believe. But also this is a softer plastic, or it's like a piece of like softer plastic, but she can get that amount of motion, which isn't that good. But then again, she doesn't really do much motion in the show. She can like move her back that far up, which isn't a lot, but like I said, I wouldn't want her to move that far up because she doesn't really do that in the show. Moving down to the legs, she can almost do a full 90, but I think some of the pants crinkle up right here and it kind of hinders some of the movement. She can move her thigh or leg this far back, kind of because she has a butt flap back here. There is a swivel, I believe. It feels like a swivel, but it can only go this far, this way, but like this far that way. So there is a swivel, but I think it's just a ball peg and how it's positioned. She can get a full 90 degrees plus for her legs, which is really good. Very nice range of movement on her. For her shoes, she can get a up and down. There's no toe articulation, but I'm fine with that. But it can go up and down. It can also turn just because of how the peg is like inserted, but she can turn side to side too. Next, I'm gonna show off her with the trench, with her overcoat on, and some of her accessories. This is what she looks like with her overcoat on. If I'm being honest, I think it really completes the look of her. In the display, I do have her on with the trench coat, like at all times. I think it looks really well done. It is also really well tailored and done, and it fits her pretty snug. I don't think these buttons actually like button up to her, which I'm fine with. I wouldn't want them to, but like I said before, there is a bendy wire that starts right here and it goes all the way down, so you can have a bit of fun posing her. Something like that. I think it is really well done how they managed to do her trench coat. You are going to have to take off her hands to put the entire trench coat on, and you're just going to have to take them off and put them back on, but it is pretty simple, but just something you're going to have to do if you want to keep on putting this on and back off. But also, for some reason, I have her in like a pose most of the time, and you can see a bit of like crinkle right here on her coat, and it kind of like stays in place when you take her coat off for some reason. I think that's just how the fabric works. You can like steam this, I guess, or like iron it a little bit just to make it softer if you want, but I don't really think it's that too much of a big deal for me. She's in a pretty like monotone pose. It's a pretty simple pose. So, but I have had her for like since November, and I have had her in like that pose for like since then. So for her arms And the trench coat, it doesn't really hinder any movement. You can still get a full like that. You can get a high, but not like, no, you can still get it as high as before. I think this trench coat is like made of it's a pretty thick like piece of fabric, so I'm kind of surprised that you can even get that motion on off of her. But the stitching is really well done too. There is a bit of like some loose fabrics next to her cuff right here, but it should be fine. You can't just like burn it off or like cut it off with like a pair of scissors or something. But I'm gonna show her like holding some stuff and like what hands hold certain specific things. I forgot to show off how to take your head off. It's pretty simple. There's a bit of a seam right here. I wish it was like of a tighter seam because you can see a little bit of that, but it's not really too much of a big deal when you look at her like head on or like right here. It kind of blends in with the rest of the seams, but you do just take that part off. It is keyed too. But then you take off her like actual face sculpt. I would recommend like grabbing her ears and taking it out, and like wedging your finger in between there, taking it off. It is keyed as well. And then you're gonna grab the other head sculpt that she comes with. It's just the extra one where she's like smiling a little bit. It is keyed in. Just make sure you like follow all these grooves so it fits in pretty well. And that this part does blend in really well with the other bits of sculpting they did for her hair. But you do just grab the other piece and then put it on top. And that's what she looks like with her other face on. She does come with a specific hand. You can see the difference between something like this hand and this hand. This one has like a bigger gap in between her index and her thumb, and this one has a closer gap. This one is for the lollipop. I don't know if you can see that well, but there is a bit of a groove or like an indent in between her fingers, like right here. Let me see if I can like point it right here, right there. There's a bit of like a groove where you're gonna have to insert the lollipop, and it's like, it's not super secure. I do think if you like drop this from like a certain height, it will like eventually like squeeze out. It's not that tight of a hold, but it does like hold the lollipop in there pretty well. But there are some cool poses you can do with this, and if you have Denji as well, there's some pretty cool poses you can do with Makima and her, especially with this lollipop. This is the other hand she comes with. You can see it's gonna be different than the lollipop hand because this one has a smaller gap instead of this one. This one is for her holding her beer. These are softer hands. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little bit softer, not too soft where you can like bend it super wild and expect it to like come back. But you can like wedge it in between your hands and then fix it in place. Something like that. This isn't pretty secure. The only thing I would be cautious of is if you do like accidentally drop the figure with this in. This is like the beer part is held by nothing. It's just a cylinder and it just fits there. So if you do tip it over the wrong way, it will just eventually fall out. So just be cautious of that. This also does come with like a warranty sheet, but and like a little like plastic bag. But this is what the instruction manual looks like. And on the back, they have a little bit of posing right here. They do have her with her beer and her candy lollipop, and it does show you how to change her face, which I already did. But I also did end up fixing her back hair piece right here. Use like the smallest amount of super glue if you have any. I don't know if glue will actually hold it over time, but super glue should do the work. But use like the smallest amount because it's a pretty tight squeeze. So my final thoughts on Makima by Threezero, part of their Chainsaw Man line, my conclusion would be to get her if you like Chainsaw Man, if you like Threezero, if you want a 1/6 scale version of her that is relatively cheap considering it's 1/6, it's branded, it's by Threezero, a well-known like company. I would say get her if you really like want her, especially if I got mine off of Sideshow for I think under 180, I believe. I know Entertainment Earth has her, but I think she's not available on there right now. Last time I checked, at least. She fits in really well with the rest of the gang. With the other three, she works really well as like her own figure. In my opinion, she's probably the best out of the four. I know some people are probably gonna say Denji's the best, but with the hard plastic that they came with, I just don't want to run the risk of it. I like how they added the softer rubber, the softer plastic that Aki and Makima come with. They come with like a softer plastic, while Denji and Power come with more of a harder plastic, like all around the figure. Even for Makima and Aki, like their hairs are softer plastic, their hands are softer plastics. As soon as I felt that she had like softer plastic hands and Aki, I'm like, this is probably like one of the better of the Chainsaw Man line, even though Denji looks absolutely raw. And as soon as I got Power, she was the first one I got. As soon as I saw her in person and got her, probably like my favorite figure at that time at least. But as soon as I felt like Aki's and Makima's hands and their hairs and like everything that's like can be soft plastic and is soft plastic, it just make that much of a difference for me, at least for me. But if you can find like Denji and all that for like a good price, I would say go for it, because there's no guarantee that they would re-release them, but that's just me. I hope everyone enjoyed the review. I do plan on doing more if there's more support behind it. I do appreciate the comments people have left. I have appreciated the subscribers, the likes, everything. It really means a lot to me, even though it's like it's meant, even though it feels like nothing to most people, but it feels like a lot to me. So thank you for everything, guys, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. God bless.